You know, I probably things that make me laugh, things that are funny to me, because frankly, I'm not in. I don't get stimulated by a lot of comedians that I've seen, a lot of funny movies, all these things. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't know if you remember when you were doing stand up. I gave you that one joke. I thought it was funny.
Yes.
And
I thought it was funny too.
I said, Mike, how did that joke do? Nobody laughed. You can hear crickets. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Thanks, Eddie.
Okay, here's the joke, and it's not. I mean, if anybody's ever, have somebody that's died in this situation, I'm sorry. I was, 19 when I did stand up, and when I delivered that joke, but it was like, 5 people were in an elevator, and it dropped 100 feet. And they all died. I wonder what the first thing that came to their mind was when that elevator dropped. And Eddie's punchline was, I guess the first thing that came to mind was their feet. Which to me,
when I first said that, I was waiting in line with Pat at the Twin Towers because they had you had to wait in line to get in that elevator because the elevator
Twin Towers in Century City.
No, Twin Towers in New York.
Really?
I was with Pat. And all these people are looking at it. They're a little scared to go in the elevator. And the whole time I kept saying, wow, I hope this thing doesn't fall off the rafters. I just kept saying things. And the whole crowd's getting super scared. This was on video. That was on that video that Paul took. Anyways, and I said, man, I hope that doesn't happen like it happened last time. And that's when I talked about the elevator falling off the rafters.
Right.
And all these people are so uncomfortable. But yeah, but you go to stand up and you tried it. And what was the response?
Maybe it was just crickets. It was like, well, that didn't go over very well. Let's move on.
Sorry.
But
yeah, so things that I find funny, or things, humor to me, yeah, it's just some things I find funny. Perhaps others might find it obnoxious or not funny or something.
And you definitely push the boundaries. You push the boundaries of comfort, in not just, the stage is society. Yeah. That's what I've seen you do. You go out there and you'll say things just on your budget and you skate around. You're also like the Teflon Don because other people will get collateral damage from your humor, but you never get scathed, which is another story we'll get to in a second. But you mentioned some names. Let's just talk about now. Since that time, since the movie theater, you and I would start to get together and we would do phony phone calls. Now, people say that sounds adolescent, but the way Eddie did it was, unlike the Jerky Boys, it was done. It's such a fashion, and the reason why I'm telling you this story because this segues into a part of history that you'll want to know about Eddie and myself, and that is we would do these phony phone calls and I would give him premises of people that we're going to call, and then he would create a crescendo, an artwork, a crescendo of a dynamic scene, a dilemma. It was really, the structure, immediate structure of what he would call up with these people was so dynamic, so hilarious, so different than any other kind of phony phone call we've ever gotten. I used to videotape these, and when it came time, when I became friends with Paul Thomas Anderson, back then, we just knew him as Paul Anderson. When I did the Dirk Diggler Story, I drove Paul home one night, and he got the idea. Paul Thomas Anderson's the one. He's done a lot of great movies, nominated for Academy Awards. And when he was 17, he wanted to do The Rise and Fall of a Porno Star named Dirk Diggler, which eventually became Boogie Nights, and I appear in that as well. So he says, Mike, I want you to play be in a short film I want to do called The Dirk Diggler Story. And I said, great. So he gives me this little script that he wrote and everything, and I read it, and it's kind of like a Spinal Tap, kind of, rise and fall of this porno star named Dirk Diggler. And Dirk Diggler has a best friend named Reed Rothchild. And I said, I have somebody that can play Reed Rothchild. I have the perfect person. He goes, who is it? I said, tell you what, rather than introducing to you, let me get you this videotape of all these phony phone calls that we've done. So I bring over the video VHS to Paul's house, and I said, this is one of my best friends. You got to see this. You've never seen anything like this guy. And within 7 minutes, Paul starts seeing this, and he's like, this guy's a freaking genius. I've never seen anything like that, and he grew up in an entertainment family, and it was the same reaction that I had when I first met you. So then, lo and behold, so Eddie plays Reed Rothchild in the short film version of Boogie Nights, the Dirk Diggler Story, Dirk Diggler's best friend. So you and I got to do that whole thing. That bonded us even more so.
It was fun. Yeah.
And then we still didn't stop doing phony phone calls after that, by the way.
It was fun because both of you, if you remember, we were improvising. We were going off script, and and you can hear and when you're watching it, you can hear Paul laughing in the back. He's all
right. Right. Yeah, we did a lot of fun. There's several scenes where we improvised, and back then that was the first thing I ever acted in. But you did acting in school or something before that, right?
I took some drama in high school. That's about it, though. I took drama.
Yeah. Well, once again, just like an instrument, you can give Eddie something to play, and he will master it within a short amount of time. You can tell. Even on this video, this short film of the Dirk Diggler Story, you could see he has acting chops inherent, because when you learn one art and then you learn a second art and you learn a third, and you have that kind of mentality, he had a lot of freedom in his childhood. You see this artistic synergy. It becomes like critical mass to where that starts to really hit a synergy. By the time you did the Dirk Diggler Story, I was like, wow, my God, I never knew you had that in. I saw you do funny phone calls. I knew that you were funny, but now, oh my God, you're crying, you're acting, you were amazing. And it was just super dynamic. Bob Ridgely, who was also in Boogie Nights, he shook her hand after and said, "You're a really good actor, young man," and it was like, just you did fantastic. Now let's go a little further into, when Boogie Nights got made, though. Paul asked you, and this is when you started performing with the Powerteam. And the Powerteam, how would you describe the Powerteam in your own words?